of how you could schmooze around on the nightclub floor, and it was a true nightclub, not one of the things that we go to now. I mean, it was a real nightclub. And you would bump into the great and the good, enjoying a night out and enjoying entertainment, and why shouldn't they? Because the Cave was the tryout venue for all the acts from Hollywood before they went on to Broadway or Philadelphia or Las Vegas or wherever they happened to be appearing in the off-season. So I've rubbed shoulders and I've sat and almost become friends, I suppose, with a large number of yesterday's stars. Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, Goldie Hawn. Now, that was in the days when she was giggly, and nobody knew that she was going to turn into one of the best businesswomen that Hollywood ever produced. And a lot more. Frankie Lane, the 3 Degrees, you name it. And I remember that because there was a top-class nightclub such as the Cave, I think that there was one called Izzy's, which then would bring in what we consider to be good acts, but the second rate. And I can remember seeing Lulu at Izzy's, and that would be in the 60s? Yeah, it'd be in the 60s, I guess. And then there was the Marco Polo, which was in Chinatown, and it brought in all sorts of people, stars. And it was, you never knew who you were going to see. So that really took me back, that cocktail. So I've forgiven me for the fact I played something like that when I should be waking you up in the morning. But those were wonderful memories. Wonderful memories. But now let's back to cancer research, because when we rejig all our programs next month on Mirador Television, one we're going to have is Leslie's People. And around Lewis, there is a wonderful artist who paints from photographs. And she's painted everybody, from Boris and from Meghan and Harry down through the comedian. Never mind. My mind has just gone blank, even though I can see him. And that happens to me nowadays. You know, you've heard the old thing, I can remember a face, but I can't remember the name. Anyway, she's painted the great and the famous, but what she does now, for cancer research, she sells the paintings, but doesn't keep a penny herself. Leslie Nora Hills, a name to be reckoned with. Leslie is, let's say, a mature lady. I'm not going to reveal her age. She's a mature lady, an excellent artist, a lovely person, and she paints characters from around Lewis, and there is, hanging in the cancer research charity shop, one of me. Quite remarkable. And but all sorts of other characters, and to help both cancer research, but to recognise a real talent, we are going to do a 5-minute slot each week and take one of Leslie's portraits of local people and then do a little backgrounder on that person, so that if you pass them in the street, you'll know a little bit about them. You'll know why she painted them, why they're famous, but what they did perhaps before they became famous. And there lies a lot of fascinating stories. Oh dear, 19 minutes in and I've rambled as usual. It's actually coming up to 5 to 7, and I think that, yes, let's play another one, shall we? And this one is Weekend in the City. Let's go for a weekend in the city. Wowee! Before I start to rant again, I was out all day yesterday. The reason that I was talking about Leslie Hills is I was out doing filming all day with my colleague Annie Verrill, and we paused for a little while to. I describe it as Wild Bill Hickok's place. It's got a name, something like that, Hickson and Dixon or something like that. Anyway, I can never remember the real names. So we were sitting outside having a beer at about lunchtime and trying to figure out how to use one particular aspect of Facebook Live. And we started our usual thing, is blaming each other because it wouldn't work and having a bit of a giggle about it. And I just, without thinking, just posted it. And this morning, it's now rising to about 40 views, whereas normally when we do those sort of things, if I get 10, I'm lucky. So, I don't know, there's a message there somewhere, is if you do nonsense on the internet, people look at you. If you try to say something serious, it's switched off in a hell of a hurry. Does that say something about modern society? I don't know. But if you're able to look us up, I think it's probably on Mirador Television on on Facebook, and I watched it back, and it is a bit amusing because she's a little terrier. She's a third of my age, but she gives me a stick all the time. He just chases me and terrorizes me. It's absolutely hilarious the way she does it, and almost with an innocent look on her face. It's a nice little bit of nonsense on Facebook this morning. If you get a chance, take a look, because it is a smattering of what you can expect on Mirador Television. I mean, Mirador Television is quite small. Potentially, it's got a huge audience. And we are going to rejig everything that we do. It'd probably be the first week in August, because we're moving into a little studio, which is rather nice. And things will be much easier and much better when we've moved into the studio. So from there on, we can get with it and do a few more things other than we do, and improve our product. But even so, we are the biggest little TV station in the world. Remember that. The biggest little TV station in the world. And we love having you with us. Take a peek. Take a peek. Well, now, I started off by ranting about our leaders, and the EU are getting its knickers into a twist. The civil servants bullied the politicians into a deal with France and Germany making concessions and going away muttering. The northern states, who tend to be rather frugal, are getting upset that 650 billion or so is going to be poured into what they consider to be the wasteful countries around the Mediterranean, where everybody is so laid back it's hard to believe, but it's wonderful to holiday in. So that was a big issue, which was eventually resolved, or at least uneasily resolved. Now, the trade talks with Britain, apparently we made a major concession, in as much as we've said that there will be some relaxation of the rules and regulations which we were insisting upon. And of course, the moment you do that with Brussels, it's nothing to do with the EU, it's to do with Brussels. They're tyrannical civil servants who aren't even civil servants, they're unelected. And they just dig their heels in whether it's good for us or not. Now, of course, we should never have made a concession, because the row the other day made it quite clear that UK leaving the EU has caused all sorts of problems. And they are beginning to say there are ways back for the UK, you know. Well, as a Brexiteer, if we go back into some sort of confederation that is workable and isn't in the hands of a few unelected people, I wouldn't be opposed at all. But now that they're admitting that they're in more problems than they care to let us know about, then perhaps we will see some sort of change. I don't know. The only thing I would say is that the EU's books are still unaudited, and the last time an auditor refused to sign off, they sacked her. Oh well. Right, okay. What I'm going to do is, because we are having so many problems with China, I'm going to just remind you for the last thing of the week that we had a very good relationship during the war with a lovely, lovely Chinese lady who made sure that our spirits were kept up, and she did a wonderful, wonderful piece of music. Perhaps you won't think so in the modern era, but this was played every Sunday morning by a gentleman on the BBC called Jack Jackson, and China gave us a spirit to carry on. Another age, another era. Gentler, lovely. Thank you, Jack DeManio. Thank you, Jack Jackson. Thank you, the lovely lady who sings Rose, Rose, I Love You. And it's all about saying goodbye. So, from Keith Hayes in Lewis, Toodle Pip.